Okay, so do you remember that I showed you this advertisement? So, I mean, like, literally, as I started to look at this and go over even more and more, I started to find out even more interesting stuff. Okay, first of all, you see the bird, the vulture. I don't know that it's supposed to be like an eagle or a crow, but it looks like a vulture to me. But, when you see it has the Crowley, which is like the only brand new thing at this school. It's a disgrace. And, of course, the liar who wears a cross, who, if he ever comes up to me in person, I will rip that cross off his fat neck. And with my mind. Disclaimer. So, do you see this? See how it's a hectagon? You can tell that it's already, or I think it's an octagon. It goes around, it's a giant one. Okay, so what you don't realize is that this is where they sacrifice people underground, and that comes from the clampers. The people from the clampers actually told me that. But there isn't, because this whole town was just a little bit of history on Visalia. When Visalia was first built, when the white people built it, and they took it from the Indians, and they basically built underground tunnels. They were called the opium tunnels. And since they used a lot of the Asians to build the roads, build the buildings, and like that, they didn't want to have to look at the Asians. So they built underground, like, tunnels for them to go from the places that they need to go to. So, because they did not want them walking on the same sidewalks as them. That's true. It's a true story. And now some of these places are turned into, like, recording studios or just, like, underground places. A lot of them are closed off. But there's a river that actually flows underground in Visalia. And there's, like, doors underground that you can go out into that river and stuff. So, opium tunnels were most definitely, I think they were built, like, in the future. Because if you go on the website for the Masons, they plan their shit, like, 200 years in advance. Like, they'll go on their calendar, and they're like, we're going to go over our 5, 50, and 200-year plan. I'm like, dang! I mean, these people are serious. And they make a comment like, that is why it is our lodges that will be standing in 50 years. And that was in, like, 2007 that they had posted that. Okay. So, here we have Lincoln Oval. You need to look into the yig or the egg. Okay. And find out what that symbolizes. And then there is the Oval building. This is Lincoln Square, Lincoln Oval Park. Okay, and which Oval Park sits inside of a cube. Do I have the right map? It's not the right map. I just had people over here the other day, and we were checking out the maps. But I guess I don't have that other one. We might have taken. Oh no, there it is. Baba Peanuts, because we were eating peanuts. Everybody's going to be bored when the apocalypse comes, but not us, because we're going to be busy shelling peanuts. Okay, so here is, I have to make sure I can see, the square, the cube. This is the cube of Saturn, and then the oval is right there. A little egg in the oval, waiting to hatch. So, that's actually where I was conceived to, in that square. I don't want to spoil it. So, this is the top of that building where they sacrifice people. And there's an underground tunnel that goes from the courthouse and the jail system to this so that they can use people who are in jail. And whether they're using it to sacrifice people or to use MK Ultra, whatever it is, they're doing it. And then I'm not the only person. I am not the only person who knows. When I was at Cafe 210, what I call Shag Mac and Lulu's, they actually, people that were there absolutely knew that they were doing sacrifice killings there. I mean, he said it out loud, like he didn't even care. He was like, well, they used to use this place to do sacrifice killings. And I was like, woo, somebody knows what Tony knows. So here's this, and what's the address? 808, and it's Route 88. You take up to Crowley Lake and to the Bloody Mountain. Okay, 808, 88, right there. Now, the bus route you take to go to this site over here by St. John's is B8. 8B. It looks just like 88. It doesn't matter. It looks just like 88 to go there. Also, people in this town may not know this, but if you have blonde hair and blue eyes, you will be approached by the KKK. And they have these, like, bousts or whatever they're called, where they really have barbecues and, like, recruit people, and we're white, we're superior, and blah, 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 these are supposed to be slaves. All these people are slaves to us, we're superior, and they try to, like, recruit, and they really will invite you to these barbecues. It's all normal, and they eat, and then at the end they start, like, doing the brainwashing, like the Hitler camps. And that's going on in this town. Come on, dude. Like, everybody knows that the KKK used to meet at the big table at the Merle's Drive-In on Mooney Boulevard. That was, like, well known that every last Thursday of the month that they had a meeting there at that giant booth in the back of Merle's, which is now a Habit Grill. So, okay, when you're looking at this, you got the cross, you've got the scissors, you've got Crowley. Oh, you have all the poor people, but they're not white. They're Asian, Italian, Mexican, or Asian, Italian, Mexican. They're not white people. You don't have any unfortunate white people on here. Freaking ridiculous. And then they've got this girl. What's she eating? They got a little producer's plug. And then what's she eating? Peasant food. Pizza. Peasant food. It's peasant food, you guys. And so we know, like right now, Katy Perry's getting a lot of beef because of her new video, which I love. And I love it most of all because I said all this was coming. I'm like, Katy Perry had the same awakening that I had. She's going to come out and say who she is. And she's going to say it like in a way that is going to be amazing. And I've been saying this for almost like a year. And my friends are like, how did you know? Because we're soul sisters. Because we're connected. And she's doing that, make me your enemy. Your enemy. And she does this. And you see her doing this. And you do some research on Constantine, and you'll find out that, number one, he did not fly the cross, because it's on his giant temple that he used to go in, where he had Apollo at the top with the 4 horses, that he was definitely not flying the Christian cross there's no crosses on anything that he had made. And that was like post his victory. So he did not fly the cross. That is some bullshit propaganda that people gave you to think that like there's some power in this like symbol that you can use, and there's not. So that's hocus pocus. So, and the only thing left of Constantine is like his head, a piece of his head, and then this. And it's just like sitting there in a monument. To this day, you can go there and see it. And what does this symbolize? And I found this out when I was on Revolution Radio the other night. It's the Lancelot, Helios, the city of light. And that is Visalia, the city of light. It's one of these cities that is the city of light. Another name for light is Lucifer. Lancelot is the Landsfair, Sir Lancelot. Lucifer in the King Arthur story. You've got King Arthur is Thor, is Andara, is Ra, is Jesus. It's the same story. So, so I'm looking at this, and then I love to show this to people. I'm like, yeah, you know, like we know about this. Okay, yeah, we know about this. We know about this, right? This is like, ooh, a cult symbol. I just say a cult symbol. I don't say whether it's good or it's a bad. It's just a secret symbol that sometimes people know about and sometimes they do not. And symbols are very powerful. Sigil magic is very powerful, I believe. So I don't believe that a cross, that is silly, but there is sacred geometry that is real. I know a cross is sacred geometry. I'm not here to argue with people. I'm just saying wearing a cross isn't going to protect you from anything. So I love showing this to people because I'm like, yeah, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at that. And a lot of people that know me know this guy right here, Mike Cox. And I'm all, now check this out. Creepy bride. Look at that. But wait, there's more. Let's take a look at her ring that she's wearing. It's not a wedding ring. It's on her wedding finger. It is a pyramid with a star next to it. And then this is butterflies. They look like hearts, but they're butterflies all over it. Monarch. So, very crazy. I thought that was very interesting. The church has since not used this since I posted my video. They're not using it. And I posted my video and their picture with Crowley because people don't know who Aleister Crowley is around here. They don't. Around here we have so much religious programming that people don't know what Renly's Chateau is. They don't know anything about Mary Magdalene. They don't know anything about Jesus. They don't know anything about the Holy Spirit. They don't know anything about the occult or our enemies. We're supposed to be our enemies. Don't make me your enemy. You better not make me your enemy. Like, I am not anybody's enemy. I'm the enemy of the dark, and that is it. Of not even the dark, because there's dark matter, which is love. I'm the enemy of the bad, the evil that wants to come into our hearts, our minds, our spirits, our body, everywhere, and fully encompass us. And if you talk to people who are older, they're like, why don't people see what's going on in this country? And it's a trip. It's a real trip because you could have went and talked to somebody in Paris and said, hey, guess what? In 2 months, Hitler's going to take over. He's going to go, and there's going to be Nazi flags everywhere. He's going to take over every single business, and he's going to control everything. And I said, yeah, right. You know, that's pretty much how they responded. And this country is, I am still holding on to my Constitution, and I am still saying that we have rights. I will not go up there and say, our rights are gone. No. You best believe I'm hanging on to these rights until I die, even if I die for them. And that is not a crazy thing to say because people join the army all the time to die for these rights. I just am doing things that people in the army can't do. So, one more time. Woo, dead eyes. And then this looks like a ladder. The bracelet she's wearing specifically looks like a ladder. It's kind of a long shot, but my friend noticed it, so I wanted to put it in there. because this is all about Jacob's Ladder being in Visalia. This is a safe zone, a dome in Eden, and they do not want anybody to know because they don't want everybody rushing here. But I'm saying just come on down. Check it out for yourself. If you don't believe it and you don't think it's real, then leave and don't come back. I don't really care. Come hell or high water or spiders or mites or chemtrails or whatever, I'm here. I'm here. I was born and raised here. I love this town. I love the people here. I love the people that are at my church still that they don't know. They don't know. They don't know what happened between me and the church. They're told lies, so they don't really know what's going on. But I just had somebody from that church at my house the other day, and she left here. She couldn't even talk. She was like, wow, because I have proof of these things that these people are doing. And another thing was like, I was like a little bit, not embarrassed, but I was like, I had these Morgellon spiders. I was very emotional. I didn't know why. And I was frustrated with the church, and I went ahead and made a video, and it's still on there, and, just basically calling them out and what they had done and how they had treated me. So then when I got better from the Morgellons and I wasn't as emotional anymore, I decided, I didn't handle it right. Like, I felt like I did. I went to the elders first, and then I went to her, and then I went back to the elders, and then the elders were like calling me from other churches, like, what's going on? And so I felt like in that regard I handled it correctly, and like the pastor from the church that we came from, he was like, wow, Tony, you've changed. Like, there's something different in you, sister. He's like, there's something different about you, sister. I like it. And I was like, there's a fire inside of me that no water on this planet can then put out. That's all there is to it. But I was like, I'm going to apologize for the way I handled it. Our money was missing, and there was really things going on that were wrong, but I went to apologize, and there was like no forgiveness there. So that tells me who people really are. So I just want to say that. And one more time. Ooh, doo, 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 doo.